Okay, voice is a little better now. Hi, Niece. You came just in time for me to wrap up. But you do get to see the new horse girl that I just pulled. Horse girl swimsuit edition.
Proper horse girl racing outfit, I see.
Oh, for sure. That said, she is currently the most powerful horse girl in the game in terms of PvP. So I was very fortunate to have pulled her.
The power of a swimsuit is limitless.
I know, right? It's the Bikini of Invincibility effect.
You gotta give your model one for the summer, LOL. Wield unlimited power.
But at what cost? At what price? I'll take that under advisement, though. We're pretty far ways off from summer at the moment. Which makes it kind of ironic that this, Horse Girl was only just very recently released.
I mean, can a swimsuit be a Halloween costume?
I suppose so, if you're in a warm enough climate. To be honest, I've seen skimpier things than swimsuits.
I would know. I was a maid once.
You were, huh? Was your maid costume skimpier than a swimsuit?
Mostly legs exposed cause I couldn't find tights or high enough socks on time lol.
Unfortunately, the maid costume that I picked up ended up being too small. One of those things where it was in, like, Asian sizes, so it turned out to be, like, 2 sizes smaller than advertised.
What, like kid-sized?
Not actually kid-sized. It was just like, you know, for a very slight build Asian girl with, like, very small shoulders.
Oh, did you dress up for Halloween after all? Forgot to ask.
No, I didn't end up dressing up this time around. I ended up being weirdly busy on Halloween. And also, no trick-or-treaters showed up once again. Was your maid costume this year, or did you go as something else this time around?
Oh, that was 2 years ago. This year I was a pizza guy.
Ah, I see. And you managed to not get assaulted by any Ninja Turtles. Presumably.
Or the non-copyrighted mutant snaps with that. So you said you were gonna call it soon?
Yeah. Alright. In fact, that's probably a good place right there. So thank you so much for joining me, everybody. And I hope to see you again next time on Yukikaze Gaming. Incidentally, I'm still, playing at the moment on the partially disassembled PC. I hope to be fully back in action by the end of the week, if I have any manner of luck at all on that front. But we'll see. Time will tell.
Night, Yuki.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Yukikaze Gaming. Today we're going to be playing some more Umamusume. We are in the half anniversary event, part 3. And I'm going to be doing a couple of pulls, and running through the new Unity Cup, which I haven't done on stream yet. There's a lot to go over. First off, I think I showed last time that the half anniversary part 2 missions had been released. I'm almost done with that, but I am stuck on this 2-star or better stamina spark mission, which unfortunately is just very RNG. And I've only, I think, made 3 or 4 horse girls that actually met this criteria so far in the entire time I've been playing. The odds of this are not very good, so it's kind of unfortunate that they tied that to being able to get the last item from this. The good news is they gave a fair amount of time for it. They gave over a month to accomplish this, but it's still not the easiest mission unless you get pretty lucky. Hopefully I still manage to get that completed at some point here. There are things you can do to maximize the odds of this, and I'm going to be, well, I have been and will continue to attempt to get those to at least some kind of decent place during a lot of my runs. I can't do it for every run because sometimes the stat outputs that you need for your Uma for the particular thing you're trying to use it for conflict with that goal, which only makes getting that done even harder. However, Anniversary Part 3, you can see I've completed quite a few of these, and actually I did probably the majority of them on my first run. The ones that I'm kind of stuck on here are just the complete 20 Unity Cup playthroughs, or 10 or 15 thereof. It's, just kind of a step-up pyramid here. Ultimately, though, as long as I get 20 Unity Cup runs done, all total, then I will get this selector ticket for an SSR support card of my choice that includes anything released up to the point of this voucher. Which means I think it also includes Rico, but I don't really want to use it for that if I can avoid it. And I believe I can. So, I actually did a couple of extra pulls already in addition to the daily pull, and I'll kind of explain why here a little bit. First off, I previously, a few days ago, did enough pulls to get me to the point where I will be able to spark this banner by the end of the event. And what that means is I get to guaranteed, it's like the pity mechanic, you get to guaranteed pull one of the 2 SSR cards that are in, that are the boosted rate for the banner. Now, the reason that I'm kind of doing all that and everything, and this is also important, is Riko Kashimoto here is kind of a mandatory card for the new Unity Cup career mode that just came out. And that is going to be basically the only mode that you play on for the next, like, 4 months. So... And yeah, she'll be in, like, basically every deck, like, every time. But the thing is, in order to make her work, at least at the, like, optimal... Not optimal, but at least at the, like, bare minimum metric of useful effectiveness, she has to either be at 2 uncaps on the SSR version, which, as you can see, I currently have her at 1 uncap, which means if I, wait the next 2 days and then spark her, I will technically have her at a high enough level, to be able to make her, like, really usable. Up until now, like, this morning I pulled the second copy of her. Up until now I've been playing with just the base level version, and it has been a bit rough. The other thing you can do is play with the fully, unlocked version of her rare card. But unfortunately I have had trash luck with that as well, and I've only pulled, like, maybe 2 or 3 copies of it. So, I found myself in this awkward position where my runs are kind of garbage, and I can't really function all that effectively until I finish getting her to that second unlock tier, which is why I'm going to, take another 2 cracks at it in a moment here and see if I can get... Well, I will definitely get the spark for her, because I'm that close to it at this point. But we'll see what else we get when we do the pulls as well. If I end up getting her to, like, max limit break, great. That's just extra gravy. The reason that having her at the higher unlocks is so important is there's a bunch of stats that she gets that get boosted from leveling her up more, obviously. And things like event recovery are very useful with her, because that increases the amount of stamina and such that you gain from her when you do her, like, pseudo-rest mechanic that I'll show in a bit. Which is similar to the Tazuna card that you may have seen me play with before. Always when borrowing it, though. But also improves other stats like failure protection, decreased energy consumed when training together, but most importantly is training effectiveness. The base version of the card has this at 0, and once you get her to 2 unlocks, it goes up. The first unlock gets you to 5%, the second unlock gets you to 10%, and that 10% is really important, especially because I'll explain the mechanics more as I go through a playthrough here, but the new Unity Cup has this kind of, like, snowball effect that's based off of your current stats, and if you're not getting enough stat in, like, income, it can really mess up your run, and, like, instead of snowballing, you'll just kind of, like, avalanche and fall apart. I don't know if that's a good analogy. Let's see. I did also pull a copy of the other card from the banner. Where'd she go? Ah, here we go. Rice Shower. Now, Rice Shower was being predicted to be a pretty solid card, like almost worth pulling for herself, except that the patch that we were supposed to get at the first anniversary in, like, I don't know, 6 to 8 more months, showed up in 2 days. And one of the things that patch does is reconfigure a lot of the skills and stuff. And unfortunately, the way that it pans out is she's just not nearly as useful. Like, the stuff that she gives just isn't as strong in comparison anymore after all the buffs. She does still give Swinging Maestro, which is a really, really powerful and important skill. But you also get that from Super Creek, and more often than not, you just want to use Super Creek. Alright, so I think what I'm going to go ahead and do... oh, actually there's a couple more things I wanted to show. I did do my daily races already for the day. I'm currently stuck in the demotion range for team trials, so that is something I'm working on actively, is getting my team built up a little better to do team trials. And so the character that I'm going to be running this time around is going to be one of the team members that is currently the weakest link in my team trials formation, to see if I can shore up some of those shortcomings. But, awkwardly, the way things are right now, I'm having a really hard time with getting enough stats and stuff, because I just don't have the right cards. Or I don't have the cards that are the right ones leveled up enough, or unlocked enough, which is part of the reason I'm doing a couple extra scouts here. But the real reason I came into this menu is this race event. So right now is the final round of the Leo Cup, and I actually already did my race, and I just wanted to show that I actually, in the final round results here, got second place. So I have done quite well for myself as a, like, mostly free-to-play player who, you know, is relatively new to the game. I still managed to pull myself to this point. Now, that said, going against that, I am about to do a couple of kind of paid pulls here today. I would still consider this, like, very guppy level. Like, I'm basically taking advantage of a sale that they have on gems at the moment. And I'm doing that mostly to kind of accelerate things and to make sure that, well, to compensate for some pretty bad luck I ended up having ultimately with pulls, and to help kind of fix some of the mistakes I made previously with pulls, and to set myself up correctly for the upcoming the upcoming Kitasan Black Banner that I need to make sure I'm saved up for, because I did unfortunately blow a fair amount of gems on trying to make sure that I got all the copies I need of Rico. And I'm about to blow more. Alright, so you can see I'm at 180 points. And, at the end of the day, once I get to 200 here, I can exchange them for either of these cards. Oh, there's finally a copy of the rare version. Okay, that's good. I needed more copies of this SR card. Don't know what this card is. I mean, I didn't get an SSR, but oh well, at least I got a useful SR out of that pull. My very first time pulling this rare card, jeez. Alright, that was a pretty bad pull, to be honest. Yet another reason why I did this is, to to be honest, a little bit of sort of retail therapy. Snep had not had the best day yesterday. Things did not go right, and it was, you know, a situation where I wanted to feel like something was going right in my life. So we're gonna go ahead and get this additional copy of Rico here. And this isn't going to, like, guarantee that our runs are successful or anything like that, but it will certainly help with that. And now the uncapping. Oh, it's a strength card. Well, it's fully MLB'd now. Yeah, I had pulled 3 copies of Rare Rico up until this point. So it really wasn't even enough to be able to use the rare version of her. Which is considered, by the way, just absolute garbage trash luck. So, let's see, lost my train of thought. Oh well. Alright, let's be sure to actually level her up as well. Now, one thing I wish is that it actually, because it does, like, highlight in pink the stuff that's a stat that's increasing. I do wish that the game showed you what it's going from and what it's going to. That would make my life so much easier. There are websites you can kind of use for that, but yeah. But we can see that when we go from 35 to 40, every stat increases, and we get training effectiveness up to 10%. Initial friendship is only going to go to 27, but hey, every little bit counts. Race bonus is also a very important stat in the current game, or the current cup. Current career. In the Unity Cup, the current career. I think that goes to 10% if you have her fully MLB'd, which seems unlikely for me at this point. Unless I get super lucky with the last couple days of pulls and pull, like, a Rico card every day. I don't see myself getting her fully MLB'd, unfortunately, despite the fact that I've will have dropped, like, well over, you know, the 200 pulls on this card. Event recovery, also pretty important. This is going to increase, as I mentioned earlier, the amount of stamina she restores every time that we do a, it's not technically a rest, it's a recreation with her. which is a substantial portion of your stamina income during the run. And if you have her only at 1, or only at 0, like I've had up until now for my runs, her event recovery is fairly low, and so you just don't get nearly as much stamina from each of those runs as you, or each of those... each of those recreations as you would otherwise. So having her up to 26% now should help with that a little bit, and give me a little more stamina to work with during the runs. And make it feel more like I'm actually doing a rest than it does currently. She's still not going to restore nearly the amount of stamina that Tazuna does. She's more geared towards giving you a bunch of bonus stats instead. But it will at least be more comparable with her at, you know, a higher limit break level. Especially because the Tazunas I was using were all fully MLB'd. So she has felt like she's giving, like, nothing for energy, in comparison. Failure protection, great. Energy cost reduction, great. I mean, actually, failure protection's not that important, but it's a nice to have. Energy cost reduction, though, this really makes, this is part of your energy management, that makes everything so much nicer. I'm sure this initial stamina bonus is very nice to have as well for a couple reasons. If you can fully MLB her to get it. Or, I guess it's only at 3 that you get that. Who knows, maybe I'll do a couple more polls on the last day if I don't get another copy. In progress? Alright, well, I guess I'll resume this one for the moment, and then, just use it to kind of highlight some things. So, the Unity Cup is... At its core, it's the same as the previous career mode that we had, but the thing is, it has a bunch of extra stuff layered on top of it. And that creates a whole bunch of additional stuff to manage, as well as a bunch of additional RNG. The patch that's coming out in 2 days will reduce some of the really bad RNG that we had from the previous mechanics, which will make it a little more bearable to have the extra RNG layered on top of the existing RNG mechanics. Because right now, like, getting a decent run in is very difficult. Like, at least with the resources I had available, maybe 1 in every 10 runs you could get through without something going horribly wrong that just messed up the entire run. Yeah, and in fact this one I'd already had problems with. I wasn't able to win the maiden race, the make debut race, which forces me to spend a turn I really don't want to spend doing a maiden race in order to be able to proceed with the rest of everything here. But real quick, let's start with the new mechanics. So, the new mechanic is you're not only managing your own Umamusume, you're managing an entire team of them on top of that, and you have a whole set of team races that happen in addition to the normal races that you need to do. Now, these don't consume a turn or anything like that. You get them kind of for free, in a sense. But they do, like, your entire run kind of depends on them. And part of the reason for that is you get a lot of bonus stats for winning these. Another reason for that, though, is that the training facilities level, which dictates how much stats you get from training at them, instead of being dependent on how many times you've trained at that facility like it used to be in the old career mode, is now tied to how well your team is doing. So the better the average stats of your team, the better the level of your training facilities becomes. And that includes your own UMA stats, because your own UMA is a member of the team. So being able to get your own UMA stats higher faster will help increase these training facilities, which increases the value of things like starting stats quite a bit. But you can also, by doing these, I think they're called like Unity trainings or something, you can increase the stats of that character as well. Now, any character you bring as a support card, who is one of the valid characters for the event, will become part of your team. There are support cards that aren't part of that roster, which is kind of rough. If you have to include those, it puts you at a slight disadvantage, because it means that you have ultimately more UMAs on your team that you need to increase the ranks of in order to bring up the average, in order to increase your facilities, and also makes the value of your own stats impact the average less. So, ideally, all in a vacuum, you want to try to use only support cards that are members of the Umamusume team. That is not very realistic, though, because there are other things that factor into choosing your support cards. Now, you get added bonuses if you have these little bubbles. If you have more than one character with those, for each additional character you have that has one in the training, they'll increase each other's stats more as you do the training. The other thing that happens is they have these blue balls here. If you do these trainings...
How are you?
Hi, Para! Welcome! Thank you for joining. I'm doing alright. If you do a training that has the up arrows a total of 4 times, it will fill up the blue ball gauge, and then...
Blue balls.
Yes, they are blue balls. And then, if a blue ball character shows up for another one of these trainings, and you select to do that training, it will explode their blue ball for extra stats. And that means not only a whole bunch of extra stats for that character as one of your teammates, but it will also give you, see, I've got this flame here. It will give you a whole bunch of extra stats there that make that training give whatever stat you're training a bunch of extra bonus points. So this is again a thing where, like, in a vacuum, ideally, you want to explode as many of these blue balls as you can, preferably on stats that you actually need. If you don't utilize it, it's not like the gauge goes away. They'll kind of save the gauge, and once like, you can kind of wait for them to show up for a training on a different stat. It's RNG, so they kind of won't always, and if they do, it might not be at a convenient time. What the heck was that sound? Well, anyway, oof. Oh! That was me being pelted with stuff.
Hello.
Hi, Lord Miller. Welcome. Thank you for joining. So I'll do a couple trainings real quick just to show you, like, basically how this stuff works. I might retire this character, because... it already kind of failed before it got off the ground. And I want to try and use the upgraded support card. Alright, so Wit isn't actually a terrible thing to use your blue ball explosions on, because it will give you bonus energy if you explode on Wit. The thing is, if you explode on other things, like speed for instance, there's the normal cost of your speed, of your training, but then you'll get this added cost that's involved with the training of the blue ball explosion. And it's still worthwhile. Like, you get a decent amount of stats out of it. And it kind of, like, scales with other things. So if you have like 5 supports lined up, and you have like an explosion in there, and like rainbow trainings, you can get some pretty crazy stats out of a single training. And nice try to catch me there, Lord Miller. But, yeah, as I said, I think I'm gonna go ahead and retire this run, because I set it up using an older version of the support cards. Well, I'll play it just a tiny bit first. Just to kind of show you the event itself. I'm not even gonna bother looking these up at the moment.
I will succeed someday.
You're not the only one trying, so be sure to succeed before they do. So this is the support card that I was just working on getting upgraded, by the way. And you do have to get her to a certain amount of friendship before she'll start dating you. And you have to unlock those dates in order to be able to use her recreation mechanic to be able to get your bonus stats, your energy restoration, and ultimately a gold skill. Alright, so here you can see the blue ball explosion on like a regular stat, and you can see that it's giving plus 20 to stamina and another plus 10 to guts, so a total of plus 30 stats. And this chunk of the energy meter here is the normal cost of the training. This additional little chunk here is the added cost for the blue ball training. And when I do that, I didn't point it out before, but you're also going to see a screen pop up where this character's stats increase pretty substantially. Spirit Burst! And now you see my whole team has powered up. And out of that, because we ranked things up, some of my training facilities have gotten better. that's all for this episode. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe, or join me on Twitch or Twitter. Hope to see you next time on Yukikaze Gaming. Bye,